please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? I hadn't expected that with Colleen Ballinger, with what was coming out, more and more information would come to light that would paint quite the damning picture. And I say that because of my own naivety. I thought perhaps she would get ahead of the curve, address it, maybe even start false flagging people. I thought perhaps a cease and desist would happen before more people scrutinised her content from the past, delved into what she has produced over the years and really given it a going over. The problem Colleen has now is her own career is evidence of a number of things. Inappropriateness, and when you add children to the mix, the line in the sand is very much drawn. It is very deep and it is quite thorough, thick, intense. So what is happening now with the artist formerly known as Miranda Sings is she is suffering the consequences of her past. When she addressed it by gaslighting in the form of a song, when she addressed it by saying, you don't know all the story, but I'm not going to tell you all the story, which led to more people responding by memeing her, of course, with ukuleles of their own or guitars, because guitars are superior, yes. It only served to make her look even worse. Not that that's possible until people started to scrutinise the content, and then they realised, oh whoa, what do we have here? So what we're going to do, we're going to go through what people have been presenting on social media after taking the time to be the intrepid investigator to look into some of Colleen's past content, actions, novels, shows, all of that jazz, and see what's what, and whether or not a warning sign sooner would have been beneficial or not, or whether or not the enabling should have been perhaps considered carefully. So the first thing I want to look at is a tweet from Pop Crave. Video of Colleen Ballinger performing Single Ladies by Beyonce in blackface has surfaced. The YouTuber was recently accused of engaging in racist behavior on set of her Netflix series Haters Back Off. This particular story goes a bit deeper, but I'm going to play the clip first before we get into this part. So, odds on that ukulele getting a Take 2 electric boogaloo? Anyone? And if someone might want to highlight it, the audience reaction to this performance. Part of me thinks that the entire reason the audience was responding the way it was because the dancers behind, those blokes got moves, yo. A Twitter user by the name of Yikes had responded to this tweet by saying, and this one on TikTok from user and then including their name. What? Included is a video which I'm going to play, but there are aspects of it we do need to, for the sake of intellectual honesty, highlight. Because I do believe Colleen did apologise for stuff she had done with her sister, but I don't know the exact timeline of when some of these clips came out.
Hola, I'm Carita. I am Rosa. This is my cousin. We work at the taco together. Of course, but I am soon to be a manager. She just got promoted to the drive-thru, so she talks to the people.
Your eyebrows look especially good today.
I know today is because I have like the natural hair coming through. You're like looking at your own image and it's like
I'm looking at myself because I think I look pretty today.
Man, I am so good. Look at how even my eyebrows are today.
Your eyebrows look really good.
Because honesty is important, I'm going to play the clip from Colleen's Addressing Everything video here, where she talks about that clip before I play you the rest of the TikTok in question.
Video has resurfaced of my sister and I from 14 years ago. We were teenagers, and in this video we are doing characters that are Latina, and the characters are completely based on racial stereotypes. It is not funny, and it is completely hurtful. I am so ashamed and embarrassed that I ever thought this was okay.
Ay, Chichin, yo quiero Taco Bell. Shh, don't speak Squanto. I'm hungry.
We'll just move
Spanish
on.
is easy. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
That's a stereo.
We are going to go back, or circle back, to the accusation of blackface from the Single Ladies performance, but we're going to continue the timeline of events first before we get to it. Swoop on Twitter tweeted officially cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. The Miranda Sings featuring Colleen Ballinger show scheduled August the 10th has been cancelled. A quote. And so it begins. How's that cancelled bit in your show working out now? I was thinking more the merch. Wasn't she selling cancelled merch? It was very poor taste. I know we all like to make light of situations that could otherwise harm us by perhaps showing we are a bit more inclined to humour, but Colleen's handling of the situation when there's apparently a team around her has been quite laughable. Linked in that tweet is thesheldon.org, where it shows ticket prices and other such nonsense. The description has the very quote from the tweet, with MetroTix also offering a full refund to the credit card used for the original ticket purchased. It then gives a synopsis of Colleen Ballinger, which might be a bit out of touch now, by humble bragging about all her accomplishments. Since many people are now looking at those accomplishments and trying to determine if any of them are worth celebrating, no being the answer for the majority, I'm not entirely sure why that still exists there, but I guess someone was too lazy to go in and simply delete that part and just leave the due to unforeseen circumstances. The Miranda Sings featuring Colleen Ballinger show scheduled for August 10th has been cancelled. Interesting. By the way, just because I know for the sake of optics you can't really go into detail about what's happened, we all know what really has happened. She's been accused of manipulating minors, gaslighting, bit of inappropriate behaviour, and by a bit I mean a considerable amount, using her audience to emotionally dump on them. This sounds very familiar. A lot of people do that. I still don't quite understand why so many people do it and think that it's okay. There are levels of tragic I don't think are remotely acceptable. But this here is a direct consequence of actions. I've been teaching my nieces for years what consequences are, positive and negative, and why some experience more negative than positive. If you continually choose to do the wrong thing, can you truly be surprised when by doing all those wrong things over and over again, your situation does not at any point improve? Or if anything, it gets worse to the point you start to lose things that you love, you enjoy, you cherish. In this case, everyone knows Colleen Ballinger loves to perform on a stage with an audience, feed off that emotion that you get from them to put on the best show so they can enjoy it. She built up a huge following on YouTube and managed to transcend a bit to the live stage. To lose that now in the form of one show isn't good, because others may follow suit in quick succession. So now we're going to circle back to the accusation of blackface with the video from Rich Lux, titled Colleen Ballinger, Lawyer Speaks Out. I like caps. It gives me an excuse to use that voice. In this, we get an explanation as to why she was wearing what appeared to be blackface during that performance, because some are now doing a form of damage control and we're getting some answers. However, many do not believe, seriously, it's the internet. But I'll play the relevant clip from Rich's video now and I'll link it down below if you want to watch the entire thing.
Colleen Ballinger's lawyer spoke out today. Her legal team posted this. Colleen Ballinger was wearing green face paint while singing Beyonce's Single Ladies in resurfaced video, not blackface, her legal rep says. Followed by, according to Ballinger's legal representation, the suggestion that she was performing in blackface is false. Now, one of the victims, Adam McIntyre, tweeted out and said this: legal teams can't disprove hard facts and evidence, which is why they are only responding now to one claim that was proven to be inaccurate. I like to see her legal team address everything else.
In the context of that, Adam is right. One of the comments, though, underneath Rich Lux's video sheds additional light on this. The fact she placed the single ladies dance directly after the Wicked number was tactical. This is how you work a get out of jail free card into the foundation of doing blackface. There is absolutely no organic reason for her to have a costume change ready to be Beyonce, with thick dark makeup accidentally still on her face and a lighting change to confuse the visuals. This girl thinks she's so clever, but her cruelty is visceral and her bigotry is well planned and executed with fine print prepared from jump. With many replying to that there's a point there because there's a costume change involved. How they didn't think to wipe that crap off her face is a bit of a mystery. Air quotes around the word mystery. And Adam McIntyre is quite right. This has been, to an extent, debunked. It is not blackface, no. But something about this reeks of wrong. We'll concede. But nothing has been said about any of the accusations levied at Colleen from those that were minors when she was 30, a mere young 30 years old, talking to them inappropriately. Later on in this video, he includes a clip of PewDiePie talking about this. And I thought I'd play a short clip of that as well before we continue.
Like something years ago, and then now,
yeah,
I'm just confused by it, and I can't be bothered to look into it.
It's so deep. Like, there's multiple hour-long videos of like just showing like all these receipts and talking about what she's talked about and stuff like that. So it did come up years ago, and then it got kind of like, you know, everyone's like, whatever. It got squashed, but now it's come back again.
Okay.
But like I said, there's all these receipts and everything, but never addressed it until now. And she pulls out a ukulele, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a video about it. At the end of the video, I'm like, you know what? She should have just messaged Felix, the professional, how to give an apology.
Rather amusingly, the defense lawyer who's representing Colleen Ballinger is Andrew Brettler, whose more notable high-profile clients include Danny Masterson and Armie Hammer. Danny Masterson was recently found guilty of sexual assault, okay? And Armie Hammer, oh boy. That's not to say they're not a good defense lawyer, only that is who she's going with. And no, I have no intention of poisoning the well or misleading, gaslighting, or anything like that. I'm just pointing out who it is that she has representing her. Oh, and he represented Prince Andrew. That's a good sign. Alright. Via PopCrave, we have confirmation that her legal representatives have not addressed any of the other allegations against her. I do wonder if it's because they have no leg to stand on. Or, if it is possible, they just haven't had enough time to look into it yet. Focusing instead on other parts first that they know they can debunk. It is, for PopCrave's tweet, with that line in it, the most important part of the entire article they link, because not addressing the more recent stuff is what got people to search through the past in the first place. This could have been nipped in the bud if Colleen wasn't so high on that horse, and if she hadn't worked so hard to write, rehearse, record a explanation with the ukulele. On Twitter, Swoop put out a rather important statement that is worth adding here. A thread on Colleen and blackface. In light of the back and forth about paint, I'm hoping we can recenter the conversation on the victims. Adam, Becky, Alex, Johnny, Oliver, Ella, and voices like April, and countless others who've come forward privately. Let's continue to lift them up. A few of the victims in the Colleen story have clarified they do not believe this to be blackface. Included the video with context just to demonstrate how it's not. Swoop continues to talk about the video that Colleen and her sister made with Hispanic stereotypes, which Colleen, as I have shown, had spoken about before. 4. A mountain of evidence exists that shows Colleen acting inappropriately with minors, animal cruelty, weight shaming, and being racially insensitive. In my opinion, we can and should talk about this, while also doing due diligence with details in claims made against her. In efforts to try to recenter the victims, here are some of their thoughts about the blackface, greenface claims, with the thread finishing by showing what Johnny says, Becky says, Alex, and Adam says. This is vitally important for a level of intellectual honesty. Even those that have spoken out against her about other things say, no, that's not blackface. I don't think it is either, to be honest. I just think it's incredibly poorly timed on her part to dim the lighting to make it look a certain way, imply, infer something, which is pretty crappy, I will admit.